Hey, are you tired of staring into the blank void of your DAW thinking to yourself, man, I really need to write a song, but I just don't know where to start? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to show you how to write a song. In fact, I'll give you 9 different ways to unleash your songwriting potential. Hi, I'm Reagan Ram with OrpheusAudioAcademy.com, helping you create better music and build your fan base online. When you're finished watching this video, you will never struggle with writer's block ever again. Now, I actually can't relate to this struggle too much. There are a few times when I struggle to come up with song ideas, but most of the time, I pretty much always have an idea, and I can always sit down and create a song. Even if it's out of the blue, I just have a few minutes, I can sit down and I can start writing, because of these 9 different strategies. So just what are these 9 strategies? Well, I'm going to start at 9 and count down to number 1, my number 1 strategy for writing songs when you're stuck. So stick around for that. So what is number 9? So strategy number 9 is to start with the structure of your song first. So when you're staring at that DAW, you're not sure what to do, go ahead and add in some markers. Go ahead and just decide what the structure of your song is going to be. So this is deciding where you're going to put your verses, where you're going to put your choruses. Are you going to have a pre-chorus? Are you going to have a bridge? How many verses? How many choruses? Intros, outros, all that kind of stuff. Decide on your song structure and go ahead and put in the markers at the top of your DAW, and go ahead and color code them too if your DAW allows you to do that. So why this strategy is great, because it kind of hems in the boundaries of your mind. In other words, it's kind of like giving you a canvas to create your painting on. It's a lot different when someone tells you, hey, just go create this painting. It's kind of hard to know where to start, whereas someone gives you a nice little canvas with boundaries so you know, okay, this is what I have to work with now. So when you have your structure set up for your song, that's now one more variable that's taken away from your mind. That's one less thing you have to decide on. You don't have to think, what sections am I going to create? You already know what sections you're creating now. Now you can just go in and create those sections. All right, so strategy number 8 for getting yourself writing again is to actually leave your DAW altogether and start with the lyrics first. So by starting with the lyrics first, this kind of takes off the pressure of actually writing the music. You can kind of take yourself to a different headspace and think more about what is the message of your song is going to be? What's the aesthetic? What words are you going to use to create moods and feelings and communicate ideas? Maybe you even have a notebook or a document on your computer where you keep track of different words or lyrical phrases that you want to use in future songs. If you don't have that, I highly suggest you start one now. So you can refer to that and start writing. Or maybe you can look at some of your favorite songs or your songs that have some of your favorite lyrics and break down what is it that you like about those songs. Why do you like those lyrics? And try and model your lyrics off of that. Once you get your lyrics down, you might find musical ideas start coming to you naturally, because the lyrics can really shape the mood or the feeling of the song that you have in your mind. And so that already then narrows down what the instrumentation is going to be. Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be fast? Because you kind of know what the mood of your song is going to be based on the lyrics. Now you might find you don't even need to write a whole song. You don't even need to write all the lyrics. You might even start with just the title of the song. This is actually how I ended up writing my song, Dive Bomber. I just created the title, Dive Bomber, and then I immediately was picturing the chorus of myself singing that song, Dive Bomber, and I wanted to have it kind of be this jilting. And that's how I came up with the chorus of that. So words can really help you shape how you write your song. Now, strategy number 7 to help get yourself unstuck and writing again is to use a cool sound. Just go find a cool sound. Now, preferably, you have separate time away from when you're writing where you're either doing sound design or you're just hunting for cool sounds to use in future songs, and then you make note of them on a list. Because if you're anything like me, you probably have a huge database of sounds. Even if you're using a free software or you're just using lots of free VSTs, there's probably just tons and tons of sounds you already have access to, and you haven't really fully explored those sound banks. So start doing that, maybe on time when you're not writing. Create a list of sounds that you like, and then when you go to write your song, if you're stuck, go pick one of those sounds to kind of build your song around. A really interesting sound that you really think could kind of be the foundation of that song. All right, strategy number 6 is just start with what you do know. Maybe you play an instrument, just sit down with that instrument and just start playing. Maybe you play some songs that you already know. Just start playing those songs, some of your favorite songs, and then see what happens. Start merging into other notes and other areas and see if any ideas start to come to you just from playing around. Or just pick a key, pick a chord that you like, and just go from there and just start messing around and start playing with that instrument, playing the guitar or the keyboard or whatever it is, and see what sounds come to you. Now, strategy number 5 is to start with the melody first. So if you're not sure where to go, just start putting down some notes, putting down some kind of melody that you can try and build a song around. In fact, this is how Max Martin, arguably the top songwriter of the last couple decades, starts his songs. He says that he starts with the melody first. In fact, Max Martin says, quote, "Writing the melody first gives me more freedom than doing it the other way around. Build your song around that," meaning melody. In fact, if you want to know more about how Max Martin writes his songs, or just how to write a hit song in general, then be sure to grab my hit song creation formula guide in the description below. And this will walk you through what are all the elements that all the hit songs seem to have in common. And I've done a lot of searching, did a lot of comparing, looked at a lot of the top songs, looked at a lot of what the top songwriters said, and I kind of found the patterns and what was in common, and I condensed them all down into really 9 key elements that all hit songs need to have. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and grab that in the description below. Now, my 4th strategy for starting a song is to start with the groove or the rhythm section of your song. I find myself doing this a lot with my music. I'll start with just some chords. I might use a tool like autochords.com since I don't have all the chords and the keys and the scales memorized. So I just go to autochords.com, pick a key, see what the chords are in that key, and then start putting down some chords I like and then tweaking those to make them sound more interesting. And then I'll layer down some bass and some drums to go with that. And now I have a rhythm section. And from there, it's a lot easier to just, find the melody, find what other things you want to add to that. And before you know it, boom, you've got a song. All right, the third best way to get started writing a song is to use what you hear. In other words, if you ever have, a melody, a riff, a chord progression, anything that comes to mind that just out of the blue you get this idea, or maybe you're listening to some other song, or maybe you even had a dream and you get this idea, use those, because those can end up being really good. Sometimes that's kind of your subconscious coming out and telling you, hey, here's a cool idea, you should write this song. But don't ever rely on yourself remembering these awesome ideas that come to you throughout the day. You make sure that you get a app, some kind of voice recorder app on your phone, so you can actually record the idea for later, so that when you have time, you can pull that up. Oh yeah, that was that really cool idea, or maybe it's actually not as cool as I thought it was going to be. But you have ideas now you can draw from, and you can use those to build a song off of. Okay, the second best way I know to start writing a song is to create a little motif or a riff that you build the rest of your song off of. This is actually how Adam Young of Owl City often writes his songs. In fact, he calls it a motor, and he'll build basically the entire framework of his songs off of that motor, oftentimes keeping that going throughout the entire song. In fact, you can hear this in Hello Seattle, Fireflies, and Designer Skyline, and many more of his songs. In fact, he said in an interview about how he goes about writing his songs that I tend to use a motif, which is a short staccato synthesizer sound that has a dotted 8th note delay on it, which kind of makes this motor. If you're not sure what I mean by motif, a motif is just a short musical idea that repeats throughout your song, kind of like this. So now we have arrived at my number 1 way for writing a song, for getting started. When you're stuck, how to get yourself writing, this is the number 1 way, and it's a little controversial. And the number 1 way to start writing a song is to steal. The Russian pianist Igor Stravinsky once said, "A good composer does not imitate, he steals. You may have also heard a quote attributed to Pablo Picasso that good artists don't imitate, they steal. Well, this is kind of the same concept. Now, what does this mean? Now, I don't mean actually going and ripping off someone else's song, like Katy Perry did with Dark Horse when she ripped off the song of a Christian rapper and she ended up losing a lawsuit there, I believe. Nor do I mean what Katy Perry did when she literally just stole someone else's song and then just paid them in order to basically copy it and remake it. I'm talking about her song Never Really Over, which is basically the exact same as Love You Like That by Dagny. You could do something like what Coldplay did, where they actually got permission from Kraftwerk in their song Talk to be able to copy the little motif from their song Computer Love. So if you listen to Talk, that little motif that they play with the guitar, that's actually an exact copy from Kraftwerk, but they got permission to do that. But you don't have to do that either. What I'm talking about is you take an idea that you like from a song or an artist, and then you take that and you make it yours. Example of this might be Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, which a lot of people say sounds a lot like Boston's More Than a Feeling. It's absolutely not a copy because they sound like completely different songs. So go and find some songs that you really enjoy, that you maybe want to create a song that sounds similar to that, and find out what do you like about it. Maybe you want to copy the key, maybe you want to copy the tempo or some similar chord progressions, but then once you get that, go ahead and make it yours. Change up some things. Obviously, use a different melody. You can't copy melodies, but there's a lot of elements that can't be copyrighted in music, and you can use that as a foundation to build off of. All right, those are my 9 tips for getting out of writer's block and actually start writing music again. If this sounds good to you and you want more help creating awesome, amazing hit songs, then be sure to grab my free hit creation checklist in the description below. All right, let me know which of these 9 strategies for starting a song sounds the best to you. Which one are you going to try next? Also, be sure to let me know in the comments what other ideas you have for writing a song. How do you get started when you go to write a song? Go ahead and leave a like on this video if you liked it, or leave a dislike if you didn't, and I'll see you in a future video.